Tomi Reichental is a retired engineer who's originally from Slovakia but has lived in Ireland since 1959. He is also a Holocaust survivor, having been held in the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp as a 9-year-old boy.
I never spoke to anybody what we went through, and I kept it like this for, well, 60 years.
Then, one day in 2004, Tommy's grandson Josh mentioned it in a class discussion about World War II.
And a quiet little voice said to me that my grandfather was in a concentration camp. And the quietness of it, and obviously what he had said, stopped the class. And it was from that I just said to him, well, maybe he might come in and talk to us.
And that was the first time I spoke to 12-year-old children. And suddenly I saw the children around me. They were all crying. I was crying. The teacher was crying. And maybe at the time I sort of realized that I was one of the last witnesses for this horrific thing that happened. My cousins and uncle, aunts, my grandparents from my father's side, about 30 people were taken away. We said goodbye to them. We didn't even cry for them. We said, when all this is over, we will be reunited and everything will be all right. But unfortunately, we never saw them again. My name is Tomi Reichental. I'm living in Ireland for over 50 years. I mean, by now I spoke to over 550 schools here in Ireland, to nearly 70,000 students, directly speaking to them.
When you're sitting in a room and you're looking at someone who has been there, who has survived it, it's hard not to feel the emotions, and it can't compare to just reading it from a textbook.
He makes sure that we can never be allowed to forget, because one of the most important things about history is that we learn from our past mistakes.
Tomi is one of only 2 remaining Holocaust survivors in Ireland.
When you speak, it's back to the past again. You're starting to relive it all again, and it isn't easy to do it. So I know that the same for Tomi. You're just emotionally drained from it all, and you really don't want to have conversation with anybody because you've lived through it again.
In the documentary Close to Evil, Tomi met Alexander Zenth, whose grandfather was the Nazi responsible for deporting thousands of Slovakian Jews to concentration camps, including Tomi's family.
He represents this big heart, the capacity to be open to forgiveness. He also represents the importance of memory, because how can you forgive? How can you reconcile if you don't deeply get to grips with what happened in the past?
I have to speak out because I owe it to the victims that their memory is not forgotten.